guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about everyone's favorite subject, crow's feet. Crow's feet are those pesky little wrinkles that come around the eyes as we get wiser, and they are due to the repetitive contraction of a circular muscle that goes around the eye called orbicularis oculi. This circular muscle contracts to close our eyelid, and in doing so it pulls the anchoring skin in a perpendicular fashion, and that is what results in that crease. And that repetitive motion over time throughout your lifetime of smiling, blinking, laughing, etc. Can contribute to the formation of crow's feet. But more specifically, it's more than just your facial movements. It's the result of not only the facial movements, but also exposure to ultraviolet radiation, largely from the sun. Ultraviolet radiation that comes through the window even can contribute to the formation of crow's feet, because ultraviolet radiation in the wavelengths of UVA can penetrate deeply into the deeper layers of the skin and activate enzymes that chew up your collagen, and in doing so, then you lose some of the supportive tissue underneath in the deeper layers of the skin, and that's how you get wrinkling. So it's kind of a double hitter if you squint in the sun, as you can imagine, because you're folding the line perfectly and you're hitting it with a dose of collagen destroying ultraviolet radiation. So that is really a big driver in the formation of crow's feet. Also, if you smoke, that is also a major threat to the health of your entire body, to your lifespan, and also to the aesthetics of your skin. Smoking will definitely accelerate the rate of skin aging, and that appears in crow's feet. Smoking activates some of those same enzymes that destroy collagen, results in a lot of inflammation, and can does bring on early onset of skin aging. The last factor that contributes to wrinkle formation is our diet. Diets that are high in sugary foods in particular result in something called the formation of advanced glycation end products, which are basically sugar molecules that deposit on proteins that kind of become hard and gummy in the skin, and that can contribute to the kind of destruction of collagen in the deeper layers of our skin. So eating a lot of processed sugary foods and also smoked meats can drive the formation of wrinkles in the skin. I've talked about this in some of my other videos. I have a video specifically talking about anti-aging, where I go into more detail about an anti-aging diet and talk about the role of this there. So just to remind you, sugary foods can age your skin. You know, I get a lot of questions about the pillow creasing thing and whatnot, and to be frank, we don't have any big studies looking long-term at the formation of wrinkles based on how people sleep and sleep patterns. It's merely posited, or kind of logic, that if you sleep on your side with your face crushed, or on your stomach with your face crushed against a pillow, we all know that the next morning when we wake up, our face is a little puffier. We may have some wrinkles on our face related to the pillowcase. So there is some thought that perhaps sleeping on your back can reduce this risk. And maybe using a smoother pillowcase that doesn't crease your skin might potentially alter that, but we don't really have any strong clinical data to say that for sure. It's merely kind of speculated. I personally sleep on a silk pillowcase on my back, and I have noticed improvements in my face when I wake up as compared to when I slept on my stomach. You know, I'm not as puffy in the morning, but I don't know if that's anti-aging me. It's just my personal anecdote. So, you know, that's kind of a lesser contributor, we'll say. What can be done to get rid of crow's feet? There are several cosmetic procedures that you can pursue that will improve the appearance of crow's feet quite a bit. Probably one of the easiest ones is Botox. Botox is the injection of neurotoxin that paralyzes the signaling between the nerve and the muscle that leads to contraction. So by paralyzing that crosstalk between the nerve and the muscle, you get smoothing out of wrinkles, and it can definitely improve the appearance of crow's feet. People ask me all the time, what about using Botox to prevent the formation of crow's feet? We really don't have data to say that works, but one can imagine that it might work. So it's very popular now to get small doses of Botox, sort of preventatively, as preventative maintenance, you might say. to reduce the formation of those crow's feet. But we don't have long-term data showing that that truly prevents crow's feet. You know, it makes sense. If you're not moving the muscles as much, the face is more relaxed, you're not having those repetitive wrinkling motions over time, you know, it makes some sense. How much Botox, how long you have to be doing Botox? Do you have to be doing Botox your whole life to get that benefit? Don't really know. How early? These are ambiguous things, ambiguous topics. We really don't know, to be frank. But it can, if it's in your budget, it definitely can improve the appearance of wrinkles around the eyes. And sometimes I feel as though people spend a lot of money on products that make a lot of false claims. Botox works. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting with Botox. And I think it's a better investment, frankly. I mean, I may be biased because I'm a dermatologist, but I think it's a better investment because it lasts a lot longer and we know that it works. So, you know, that's kind of my personal bias. Products, you know, if anything, can cause irritation and rashes around the eyes that only worsen the appearance of skin around the eyes. So I think it's actually a better investment if you're looking to improve the appearance. Another procedure that is being done a lot more commonly now and is effective is microneedling. Microneedling basically uses small little needles. I have a video talking about this to stimulate collagen renewal and collagen formation in the skin. It really can improve the appearance of wrinkles. As I said in that video, I caution you against those at-home microneedling devices, however, because it's a very nuanced thing. The depth the needle penetrates is really important in terms of what area you're treating, and a lot of those over-the-counter kind of at-home derma roller type things, they aren't particularly sharp, and they can cause a lot more problems for people we're seeing. Hyperpigmentation, they're just not very good. Plus, a major risk with those is skin infection. So I say skip those. It's something though that is done in dermatologists. A lot of cosmetic dermatologists are doing now and seeing really good results with microneedling. Similar to microneedling, just in terms of how it works, is Fraxel laser that I have a video talking more about, but that is definitely something that can improve the appearance of crow's feet. And then lastly, filler. Now, filler is a little bit trickier around the eyes. There are more risks associated with injecting filler around the eyes. So, you know, whether or not it's going to be appropriate for you, it's kind of guided by your treating dermatologist. Many do feel comfortable treating in this area with filler. And, you know, it's a matter of the selection of the right type of filler and how it is injected, the injection technique, the use of a cannula, for example. All of these things can make filler an option, but it does come with more risk. So those are some of the procedures that can improve the appearance of crow's feet. What about products? Product that you should be putting around your eyes for sure is going to be sunscreen. That's actually your best defense against the formation of crow's feet. And crow's feet that you have are not going to be reversed by the use of sunscreen around the eyes, but you're going to slow down the process, and it's something that you need to do, not only for crow's feet, but skin cancers around all parts of the eyes are super common. Skin cancers related to sun exposure, super common around the eyes, as are other signs of photoaging around the eyes. Hyperpigmentation, discoloration, you name it. So here's the tricky thing though. A lot of sunscreens burn and sting around the eyes like the dickens. So what I recommend doing is getting yourself a mineral only baby sunscreen. Just get one for babies. This one's from Walgreens and it's really inexpensive and it's a tear-free formulation, SPF 50. And the way I put sunscreen on around my eyes is actually, so I start with roughly about that much, although that's a pretty generous blob. And I put a dot here. And then I just kind of work that down over my lid. And once that's worked in, I put another little dot here and work it down over the more inner part of the upper lid. You kind of want to go a little bit by bit. rather than just putting a big glob there. So if you put too much, that can definitely sting. Make sure you get this part, and just patting motions. And really important is in here. This is an area where skin cancers are really common. I know you guys came here for crow's feet, and I'm getting sidetracked by skin cancer, but you don't want a skin cancer. Yeah. So make sure you get it in there. Just pat it on. You can see I have a pretty good layer on there. I think one of the areas where people run into problems is that they put a big glob on their eyelid and then it runs into their eyes and burns and stings. Just do micro application piecemeal and pat it in. You want to use a water resistant sunscreen as well. Now, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of this product. It's very expensive. It's the Color Science Total Eye 3-in-1 renewal therapy. It's a mineral tinted sunscreen for around your eyes, and it duals as a concealer. I love this. It's really expensive, but I think it's totally worth it. I'm always looking out for sales for it. And so make sure you follow me on Instagram. I definitely let you guys know when I become aware of sales. So yeah, using an SPF around your eyes is really, really important. I'm lopsided now because I only did my right eye. But honestly, I find that if you use a baby mineral sunscreen around your eye, it almost kind of acts as a highlighter in the areas where it doesn't blend in all the way. I don't know. And so yeah, you don't necessarily need to layer a non-tinted and a tinted one if you want to use one or the other. But if you use the baby one and you don't like the full cast, then coming on over it with a tinted product is a good way to camouflage that. And you also get some added protection against propigmenting wavelengths of visible light if you use a tinted product, because tinted products have iron oxides in them, and that protects against some of those rays of blue light that can contribute to hyperpigmentation. So that's why I like using a tinted product kind of around the eyes. And it's a good approach. You don't necessarily need to use a Color Science one. I just find that that has the best aesthetics, and I continue to repurchase that. So that's sunscreen, and then really important is going to be sunglasses. Sunglasses that make sure they cover the entire, they cover the eye well. You know, sometimes the really cool flashy sunglasses offer the worst sun protection because they don't actually sit on your face properly, and they allow too much light in. So you want to have some good UV blocking sunglasses that you wear whenever you're outdoors, whenever you leave the house. Really important for protecting the health of your eyes, but also in warding off wrinkles around the eyes. If you ever find yourself wanting to squint in the sun, you definitely need your sunglasses. So I've got a video talking about sunglasses. I'm not going to repeat everything from that video, but check it out. Sunglasses are really important for the health of your eyes and for warding off crow's feet. Then in terms of other topical products that you might be interested in, there is a topical form of Botox that is advertised. It's called argirelan, or acetylhexapeptide 3. And I have a video talking more about this, but it is basically patterned to look like part of the proteins that are responsible for that crosstalk between the muscle and the nerve. And it theoretically can inhibit some of that signaling between the nerve and the muscle around the eyes just by putting it on the skin rather than injecting it. So it's appealing to people who want to avoid having to do injections, you know, maybe a little needle phobic, or don't want to do Botox. There's a small study showing that topical argirelan actually inhibited 30% of release of the signal across the muscle nerve junction. So it suggests that it is effective, and also that study showed that using a product that contained argireline decreased water loss from the skin. So that's really important. When the skin around your eyes becomes dry, those wrinkles definitely become more noticeable. So, that's great, but honestly, bigger studies haven't really supported the use of this as a replacement for Botox. Some studies show that it really just doesn't get in the skin particularly well. So I say, don't invest big bucks in this. It's unlikely to yield substantial results. You may just end up losing money. The second ingredient, though, that can be pretty inexpensive and easy to keep up with is really just using hyaluronic acid around the eyes. A hyaluronic acid product, like a serum, for example, you can apply around the eyes and then put a heavier moisturizer on over. And that will really add some enhanced hydration to the skin around your eyes, and it'll be locked in by that layer of moisturizer on top. They sell tons of products in this vein that accomplish this, and they can be really expensive. But one that I personally love and use a lot and find that it works nice just for brightening up around the eye area before putting on my nighttime moisturizer is this one by Cosmetic, their triple hyaluronic moisture ampule. It has 3 forms of hyaluronic acid, and that's good because one of the issues with hyaluronic acid is it can be kind of hard to get into the skin. So having the different forms in there kind of allows for a gradient effect. And this also has panthenol, which helps to nourish the skin cells. They can actually take it up and convert it to the active form of vitamin B5 and use it, and it's restoring for the skin barrier. And then I also like it because it has polyhydroxy acids in it, which are humectants. They add hydration, but they also can lightly exfoliate the skin in a very gentle and precise manner so as to improve the appearance of hyperpigmentation, discoloration, and fine wrinkles. So it's a really good mix of ingredients, pretty inexpensive, it's cruelty-free, and it's vegan as well, for those of you who are wondering. So I really enjoyed this, and just dropping a few little drops of it and patting it around the eye area, the outsides of the eyes. Make sure you don't get it in your eye, but just doing it that way and then putting on a moisturizer, that will really allow it to kind of hydrate up the skin very well. So that's an easy additional thing. But I don't recommend spending a lot of time, energy, effort on eye creams. Most eye creams have too many ingredients. They really just set you up for eyelid dermatitis, sensitivity. I really recommend skipping the eye creams. Most basic facial moisturizers can actually be used around the eyes. Fragrance-free and essential oil-free moisturizers generally can be well tolerated around the eyes. The other ingredient that you'll see in a lot of eye creams that can actually be helpful is going to be some combination of different peptides. Peptides are ingredients that can act like humectants. They can help add hydration. And there's some lab studies and some very small studies suggesting that perhaps topical application of peptides might help in stimulating some collagen synthesis and boosting up the strength of the skin and improving skin texture. But those are kind of small studies and not really robust. So I wouldn't spend a lot of my efforts and time and money on expensive peptide creams for around the eyes. You might just end up with very little at the end of it. But honestly, in terms of products that you buy, I would say focus on a sunscreen, picking a sunscreen that you can tolerate around your eyes and that you like. Make that your first focus. And strongly consider skipping all the rest of the stuff and saving your money for Botox. I think it definitely has more science behind it for improving the look of crow's feet. I don't get Botox. I get questions about that. I don't get Botox or fillers. I had Botox many years ago and I was learning how to do it. My colleagues would practice on me. It is what it is. It doesn't last forever, so it's all gone at this point. It was so long ago, but yeah, I don't do those things mostly because I'm just not motivated to. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I really just don't have a lot of time to dedicate to that during the day, and so it's not something that I do. But definitely, in my opinion, it is worth it over all the creams and serums and goops and whatnot. I think it's a better investment. Blepharoplasty, which is a lid lift, is another option depending on, that's more for like bags under the eyes, but it can be done to rejuvenate the eye area. And that's something that is obviously more invasive than the procedures I mentioned earlier and going to be more costly, but definitely can yield a very nice outcome in terms of improving the appearance of wrinkles and fine lines. So yeah, at the end of the day, focus your efforts first and foremost on sun protection, as well as don't smoke, please. So bad for not only your skin, your entire body, but also your lifespan. Really, if you're smoking, make that your #1 priority to quit over anything. So anyways, guys, that's everything I can tell you about crow's feet. I will list these down below for you guys, as well as some other mineral sunscreens that are a good option. There's one by Uriage that I really like for those of you in Europe that you could try around the eyes as well. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.